Okay, the first audiovisual resource that I've given you for the Week 5 EDAR504 is an introduction to, or for you to introduce yourselves to, assessment in the visual arts. So we've touched upon assessing and evaluating it in the visual arts classroom sporadically through the semester, but now it's time for us to really focus on it, because as you're moving into developing your iArtist project, assessment is a really important part of that. I'm sure you totally understand that without assessment we don't know where our own teaching is at, where our students' learning is at, and how we can actually improve the curriculum. So assessment and evaluation in the visual arts is a really contentious area, and there are various thinkers around the world. I was about to say a huge number of thinkers, but actually I don't think there really are. That the theoretical underpinnings behind assessment in the visual arts is quite a narrow field, and if you were to do any further investigation into it, you'd find there aren't that many people who are really writing about it at the moment. But although it's contentious, it is really important, and we've spoken throughout the semester about subjectivity and objectivity, and assessing the subjective can be very difficult, so nigh on impossible. And one of your roles as a teacher is to report on everything that your students do. So you need to have an objective set of standards that you can use when you're assessing. So what I'd like you to do for the first part of this assessment workshop is to go to the Elliot Eisner reading, which is the Educational Uses of Assessment and Evaluation in the Arts. And this is found in a book called Arts in the Creation of Mind. And I want you to look specifically at pages 178 to 195, so that's the whole chapter. But within that, there are a couple of pages or a couple of sections that we're going to focus on directly. First of all, I'd like you to investigate who Elliot Eisner actually is and comment on why he's an important contributor to visual arts education. And indeed, I'd probably even go as far to say why he's an important contributor to contemporary education in terms of assessment, so beyond the realms of visual arts as well. I'd like you to specifically focus first of all on pages 179 to 181 of the reading and identify what the important differences are between assessment, evaluation, measurement and grading. And Eisner talks specifically about the visual arts classroom, but you might also want to think how this impacts on other curriculum areas as well. But of course our focus is visual arts. So within the visual arts arena, within the visual arts classroom, what are the differences according to Eisner between assessment, evaluation, measurement and grading? And I'd like to see that in your sketchbook. I'd also like you to read pages 184 to 187, and that's a section called What Can Be Assessed and What Can Be Evaluated. A little mistake there on my presentation. I said what can be assessment and evaluated. That should be what can be assessed and evaluated. Please identify 2 key points of interest to you from this reading and post them to the Eisner discussion forum on Leo, and you'll see that's in the Week 5 module on Leo. I'm not looking for pages and pages and pages. I'm just looking for 2 things that have sort of bounced out at you and struck you as being important or doable, contentious, of interest, whatever it may be, in terms of visual arts and assessment. And I'd like us to use that forum as a way of discussing those particular points of interest. Okay, so you don't need to go in and out of it for weeks on end. Just have a look at maybe what one other person or 2 other people have written and make a short comment based on what they've written as well. Okay, so that's the first thing that I'd like you to do in terms of assessment. And the second thing, there'll be a separate audio-visual resource for you, but the second one is devising assessment strategies from workshops 1, 2, 3 and 4.